dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred. It is the most powerful non-violent tool we have to create a more perfect union.
I believe that John Lewis was right when he said that our right to vote is almost sacred. But I would say, I think it is sacred. I think it's a sacred right and it's a sacred responsibility that we exercise the right that so many people died to give us. So many people fought to give us. And now it's ours. And I think the real question for us is, what are we going to do with it?
It's important for people of faith to come together in this time because I believe that voting is a sacred obligation. It's actually a holy task because it means that each one of us count. We matter. Our voice matters. And in this election, perhaps more than any other, our vote matters.
I'm involved with Faith Votes because there's too much disinformation being distributed in our country right now. And I think it's important that as people of faith, we make sure that people have correct information, regardless to how they vote. They need to have the true and accurate information on policies and on propositions and measures that are to be voted on, and on the public officials that are going to be voted on. And so being involved with Faith Votes is a way to make sure that people get information and then are able to make informed decisions.
We're approaching one of the most consequential elections in our lifetime, certainly in my lifetime. And there's so much at stake. As many people have said, the very soul of our nation is at stake. We're also in a time of racial reckoning. And we've talked a lot about the protest and a lot about Black Lives Matter and Faith Votes. And this voter guide is a way for people to understand, for all of us to understand, how to vote as if Black Lives Matter, how to put that at the center of our voting this year.
This voting guide was the product of the moral narrative. And the moral narrative was put together by a group of faith leaders, tribal leaders, indigenous leaders of PICO and Faith in Action, who came together to build what we deemed to be a statement of our own morality. And then the voter guide was the result of that moral narrative. It's what came out of the moral narrative.
One of the things that we can do in this election is not vote for our self-interest, but vote with the most marginalized in mind. Vote asking, how would the poor among us want me to vote? Vote in a self-sacrificial way. Vote in thinking about the common good, not protecting your goods.
I would like for you to pledge a few things. I'd like for you to pledge to check your voter status to make sure that you're registered to vote. I would like for you to pledge that not only will you vote, but that everyone that you know and love, you'll make sure they vote as well. And then I want you to pledge that you will vote based on your morals and your ethics. You need to, as people of faith, vote based on your morals. We answer to a higher authority. So don't listen to the ads, read the information, and then vote based on what your morals tell you is best, not just for you, but for the whole.
I'm going to invite you to take this voter guide with you when you go to the polls. Have it open beside you if you're filling out your ballot at home. But I want to ask you to do more than that. I want you to share it. I want you to share it with at least 10 people who otherwise wouldn't see it. Our goal is to have this in the hands of 1,000 clergy across our state and 100,000 people, and you can help make that happen. That could be the changing tide right there. Take that pledge to do that.
I think the last thing that I'd like to say is this, that PICO's voter guide, Faith Votes, is probably the best voter guide that I have ever run across. And it is the best because it speaks to who we are as people of faith and what we need to be concerned about. We need to be concerned that everyone belongs. We need to be concerned that everyone matters. And we need to be concerned that everyone is given the same value in our state. And so I believe that this is a moral guide for us to follow as we move toward November 3rd.
We believe, along with our late beloved Congressman John Lewis, that we have a spiritual destiny as a nation, and that politics and legislation and propositions are a means to a spiritual end. And that spiritual end is the building of the beloved community. And we do that by the fuel and with the fuel of love. Faith votes for love and justice, and that's what this guide is about.